or welcome back to my channel. I am your friendly neighborhood Jumbo Fluff, and today I am drawing a new character. This character is a cat. He is going to be the newest member of the Dumpster Pals. So if you've been following along on the channel, I've drawn two of the Dumpster Pal characters already, Banjo and Fiddle. Banjo is a green raccoon, Fiddle is a pink possum. And then today we're adding on with our newest character, Mox. Mox is a nice and fluffy cat. In my conception of him, he was going to be a black cat. But, you know, with the other characters being bright and bold colors, it just didn't really fit very well for him to be a black color. So his color is going to be purple. So to start out with, I just gave myself a few guidelines of how I'd like to lay out this character page. So that's what these little blobby shapes are just kind of guidelines, like this is where I'll put this picture and this is where I'll put this picture. In the top left, and this one is Mox showing off his nice fluffy booty. I used to have a big fluffy cat a few years ago, and I always thought that she liked showing off her booty a little much. So I feel like fluffy cats, they always have, like, you know, really fluffy hair on the back of their legs, but then they have really tiny ankles, so they always look like those big like MC Hammer pants or something. So I thought that was funny, so I wanted to make sure that I put that in there for Mox. And here in the bottom picture, I'm drawing Mox with a fresh caught fish. I like to imagine that Mox is a little bit of an older cat, so he's not as spry as he used to be. But every once in a while, he'll get out there and show people what he's made of, and that's some tough stuff. And this is the final sketch I'm doing here, and this is Mox playing a kazoo. My Dumpster Pals are in a band, so I had to think of an instrument that Mox would like to play, because Banjo plays the banjo and Fiddle plays the fiddle, so they're in like a folk punk band, and the most natural instrument that goes in a folk punk band is a kazoo. Because, you know, they're cheap and fun, so everyone loves a kazoo. I moved on and started working on the line work here. I kind of speed through the line work a little bit just because it's pretty much like the same as the sketches, so it's not really very interesting to me personally. I did the line work with a nice dark purple. Doing line work is always my least favorite part of drawing. I think it's just because it's like sketching, but without the like fun, creative part of it. It's like, you know, just doing the sketch, but better. And, you know, like the decision making is taken out of it quite a bit. Although I always do make changes when I do the line work. Like for this main sketch here, I've got his tail. I readjusted it so it's hanging down a little bit. But for the most part, things pretty much stay the same from sketch to line art. I tried to give a lot of movement around the edges of the cat silhouette just so you could tell that his hair is really fluffy, and I gave him these big crazy eyebrows, which I just think are really funny and silly. After I finished the first one, I moved on to this top right corner drawing, and this one is Mox in a box. It's kind of hard to draw a cat in a box because you kind of lose like the landmarks of their body and they just kind of look like a big blob shoved in there. But I don't know, I think that's okay because that's how a cat does look when they fit in a box. I don't know. I wonder what the reason is that cats love boxes so much. I'm sure there's some like biological explanation, like maybe they feel this. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this drawing, even though it was a little complicated for me, and I had to kind of rework this arm a couple times, just trying to figure out how to make it look like it was coming forward and resting on the cat's stomach. So let's see, I could talk a little bit about Mox's design. He's kind of based on like the classic internet grumpy cat stereotype kind of cat. So maybe like a Persian cat or some kind of cat that has like a more smushy face. So he has a really short muzzle and then he has like really beautiful, luscious hair. Maybe in his younger days he used to model. And for his colors, I went with, like I was saying before, like a nice purple color. After I add shading, his colors get a little bit darker, but definitely still purple. And then I made his eyes like a bright yellow. For some reason, the eyes remind me of the Grinch. I think the Grinch must have yellow eyes. Or maybe it's because I put this green background on to draw on. But for some reason, it definitely gives me like Dr. Seuss vibes. Or also like the Cheshire Cat. That could be too. So anyway, I think that his design came together really easily because it was pretty much just like a Persian cat, a grumpy cat, you know, whatever you want to refer to his look as. I added on some bushy eyebrows, which kind of remind me of an owl. So maybe also his ears too, because they're almost like the horns of a horned owl or something. And I give him big bushy ear hair as well. I also made sure to give him one of his ears a chip or like it had been clipped on the end. I did this because I wanted Mox to be a TNR cat, you know, trap, neuter, release like they do in a lot of areas where they'll take like a feral cat and get it neutered and then release it back into the wild. And it's just good to help keep populations of cats in check so they're not breeding uncontrollably. Cats are really cool and I love cats a lot, but they are like super bad for the environment because they are like really natural born killers. So they can kill lots of wildlife, lots of, you know, mice and birds. So they can really disrupt the food chain. So I think that's a big reason why a lot of people are supporting the neutering programs and stuff. So I like to think that Mox used to be a killer, but now he's, you know, toned down. He's a little older, a little more relaxed. He enjoys taking time and living life at a slow, leisurely pace. So that's why we got some cute sketches of him in a box and another one where he's just taking a nap. You know, maybe he used to be kind of more intense in his younger days, but now that he's older, he just likes lounging about and hanging out with his friends. I also think personality-wise, Mox is probably a little aloof, which I think is pretty standard for a cat. I think he tends to have a high opinion of himself. And he likes to pretend like he's not going to go along with his friends. Like when they're like, hey, you want to be in our band? He's like, ugh, a band? Like he acts like he's better than everything. But at the same time, if they were like, okay, we're going to go to band practice and leave him behind, he would be like super upset. So he kind of has to join the band because, you know, he wants to hang out with his friends, even though he would never tell them that to their face. Yeah, he just kind of reminds me of like a grumpy friend who doesn't always want you to know that they like you, but they do. I had a lot of fun drawing out Mox's colors. I knew that I wanted this like purpley base color. At first I thought I was going to go with more like a lilac, lighter purple for like the accents and edge colors and all. But my husband told me that he thought it looked a little flowery. And then after I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. And I didn't want Mox to be like, look like an orchid or something. So I did go back in afterwards, after I finished drawing out some of these details, and add in like a dark magenta color, which I think took his design in more of a edgy and cool place. I also obviously added his cute little blushies, which I do for all of my characters just because I love to draw the little blushies on people. But since he is a grumpy cat, I went back and erased them. So let me know what you think. Does it work without the blushes? I think in this case, it's okay. But next time I draw a dumpster pal, you bet your booty they're gonna be blushing. Stuff. I had a lot of fun drawing him in the box too. I went through the same process with the coloring, but I made sure to push the shadows a lot in like where you kind of lose parts of his body, like where his back legs like kind of fade in toward the bottom of the box and you don't see it as well. So I want to make sure to use lots of dark colors, and I wanted to shade the box as well so it looks like it has some depth to it, and add some extra shadows around the edges where Mox's body overlaps the box texture. And I had a lot of fun drawing in his whiskers, and pretty much every one of the sketches, I just think his whiskers add a lot of expression, almost like eyebrows, like a second set of eyebrows. Like in this one, how they kind of bunch up a little, it makes him look even more smushed in there. So I don't know, I think it turned out really cute. I had a lot of fun drawing him sleepy as well. I always love to draw cats with like the little half moon, like squinty eyes that they get when they're like sleepy or smiling. I think they're really cute. And I like how his cheeks kind of push up on the side on this one. I think that it turned out really nice. I kind of like the idea of his big poofy chest hair almost looking like a beard. So I shaded it in a way that it always transitions from like the lighter purple of his face into like a darker purple as it goes down. So you almost get the impression that he has like a beard and he's, you know, wise and old. I don't know, maybe he's not wise. Or maybe he's not even old. I'm sure that young cats can have lots of hair too. I always think it's really interesting. I think a lot of times black cats, instead of getting gray hair, they kind of get like a lighter black, like brownish color into their hair, which I think is kind of cool. So maybe that's what his hair is doing. Instead of turning gray, it's turning like this reddish purple. Almost like the color of like a red onion or red cabbage or something. So I don't know. I think that it turned out fun, and I had a lot of fun adding shading. I tried to keep the shading pretty cell shaded instead of blended, just so it has like a graphic effect, and I think that's it gives things a lot more shape. So I always love to do cell shading. Let's see. We're moving on to our fourth. Oh my goodness, I did so many drawings for this video. This fourth drawing is our very cute Mox with a fish he caught himself. So like I said, you know, he's got that killer instinct even though he's an older guy now. So he's just pretty proud of his fish he has here. I also like the idea that even though he is not maybe the most spry hunter anymore, he still is quite a round boy. I like to think that he knows all the best places to hit up around town, like the restaurants. He stops by the seafood restaurant, he stops by the Italian place and gets some spaghetti a la Lady and the Tramp. Maybe he goes to the seafood market at the end of the day and all of the people know him and give him some fish and pets. And this little tidbit of his personality is definitely inspired by this video I saw of a dog in Japan who was like known town-wide because during the day when his humans went to work, he would like walk the town and he would spend some time at the beauty salon, spend some time at the supermarket, and everywhere he went, everyone knew who he was, and nobody knew who he belonged to, but they knew who he was, and they loved him, and they pet him, and they fed him, and he was a little bit chubby as a result. So I thought that was a fun place to go with Mox's storyline as well. Maybe he likes to think that he gets this stuff because he intimidates the people with his, like grumpy stare, but really everyone thinks he's cute, but he refuses to be a cute cat. He's like, no, I'm a tough cat, excuse me. So, yeah, after that one with the fish, I did this one with the kazoo, and honestly, I've never drawn a kazoo before. I don't know why I would have, but I thought that it was pretty easy to draw because it's pretty much just like a slightly flattened tube, and then it has like a littler tube sticking out the top. I did have to go back over it and change the color of the line art because the purple line art looked a little strange with the yellow kazoo color. And I did want to keep the color scheme maybe a little bit more minimal, like, because I already have like purple and I have green background and I have yellow in the eyes. So that's why I chose to do yellow for the color of our fish and the color of our kazoo, and the box is kind of a beigey color, but it's definitely in that same family of yellows. So that's why I try to keep the colors a little bit more cohesive that way. And oh, and there's pink and the cat too. So yeah, I guess there's a lot of colors, but hopefully it doesn't look too crazy. I think probably the green background is probably a little much, but I love the color green, and I love colors, and I love making things look kind of like pop arty or like a children's book, just things that are colorful and fun. So that's why I go with these kind of more out there color schemes, because I don't think that cats naturally come in the color purple, unfortunately. But give scientists enough time and we'll have some purple cats in a few years. So we are coming up on the end of the video. So this is the very last drawing. We're just drawing Mox showing off his shapely booty for the camera. I decided not to give him a little bum hole just because I thought that would be awkward. So it's just this fluffy butt hair and no asterisk or anything. So this is what we got, and I think that Mox turned out super cute. He's the newest member of the Dumpster Pals. He plays the kazoo. He's kind of grumpy, and he's purple, and he's beautiful, and I love him. And I hope that you all love him too. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you like my new intro. I made that today. I think it turned out pretty cool. Anywho, if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe or like it or comment on it or whatever you want to do, or don't do any of those things, and that's fine too. Anyway, that's all I have for today, and I hope to see you next week. I'm working on a new project. It's not going to be on the computer. It's going to be some physical art thing. So we shall see how that goes. I hope that it turns out great, and I hope that I will see you next time. And I hope that you have a great weekend and do lots of fun, creative things. Anyway, thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.